Hey folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Thursday, September 11th. Thank you for listening and for watching. As always, hear all of our shows on the Steelers Now YouTube channel and your audio feeds and everywhere else we put these shows. We got a practice number 2 of week number 2 for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Southside today. Coordinators talk. I'll be there with Brendan Howe and Ed Thompson doing our thing. Steelers afternoon drive coming up 6 p.m. Me, Smitty, 8 p.m. Pelusi's pick of me, Julie Pelusi, giving our picks for week 2 of the NFL and some fantasy plays. If you've got questions for Pelusi's pick 'em, we'll have a tweet up on a little bit later today for you to leave them, and we will get to those if we can. This morning, we'll talk about Steelers running back. Well, the whole Steelers running back situation, but mostly Steelers running back Kaleb Johnson and why he got but one carry or one touch, I should say, in the Steelers opener against the New York Jets. It was a weird situation for the entire running back room. That was one of two unexpected developments. The first, I guess, is that we saw a whole heckload of Kenneth Gainwell. Not what I was expecting in this game, in that he rivaled Jaylen Warren in terms of snap count, in terms of touches. I was not expecting that. I was expecting Jaylen Warren to get the lion's share of the snaps, the lion's share of the touches, the lion's share of the workload going to 30. And we did not get that. I asked Kenny Gainwell about that after the game, and he kind of said, yeah, that was the thing, which is curious. I don't really know what that means. I get the feeling that was something the Steelers were trying to catch the Jets off guard with. It did not seem to work that well. I mean, look, I've been watching the team practice every day since April. I've never once seen Kenneth Gainwell 30 snaps to Jaylen Warren's 25 snaps. Never once. So I don't expect this to continue. I do think they were maybe trying to fool someone or trying to hold something back in week 1. I don't know. I would be surprised if we see that distribution of reps between Warren and Gainwell. Again, now part of that is also that the Steelers fell behind early and they were in trail mode most of the game, and Gainwell is their running back when they are in obvious passing situations. They're third down back, if you want to call them that. So that part of it does make sense that he would have an elevated role in a game where they're trailing as long as they were. But what about Kaleb Johnson, the Steelers' third-round pick, a very exciting rookie who is, if you scroll all the way down the snap count there, you've got Kaleb Johnson with 2, one more than 6th offensive lineman Spencer Anderson, and cornerback Jalen Ramsey, who is in the old Troy Polamalu role at the back of the victory formation. That's a little bit surprising to me. Not that he didn't get a ton of play, but I'm surprised he only got 2. And again, I think a little bit of this is the Steelers holding some things back and leaving some mystery for the Seattle Seahawks. But in general, why is Kaleb Johnson the third of the Steelers' 3 backs? I think when Mike Tomlin put that out on the very first depth chart we saw at training camp, a lot of people said, oh, here goes Mike Tomlin again. He's making the rookie earn it, doing his thing, and eventually we'll see Kaleb Johnson move up that depth chart. And it didn't happen, at least not before week 1. Kaleb Johnson is still pretty clearly the third of the Steelers running backs. Why? And what does he have to do to change that? The big answer for me right now is his pass protection and receiving ability, which is just nowhere near on par with the other 2 guys. Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell are both outstanding pass protectors. Kenneth Gainwell is one of the best in the NFL. Jaylen Warren has been really good for a long time for the Steelers. They trust him with big assignments that you do not see other teams give to running backs that are blocking. And you have a 41-year-old quarterback and you have an offensive line that everyone, except for Aaron Rodgers, has admitted was struggling. So I don't think it serves the greater purpose of the offense to put a running back in the game who is not that good of a pass protector. He's also not that good of a receiver. You remember his one notable drop off the face mask in the preseason. I'm not saying he's done that every time he's gone out there, but I mean, we've seen that wasn't some kind of fluke. We've seen a young back who, look, I mean, Iowa does not believe in the forward pass. He has not done this. Doesn't mean he can't do it. It just means that he has not done a lot of what the Steelers were asking the running backs to do. in week 1. Even in his junior year at Iowa, when he had 1,500 yards rushing, he only had 22 catches for 188 yards. That's basically nothing. And so they need to develop Kaleb Johnson into a more well-rounded running back. Again, they were trailing. There was not a need for a rock'em sock'em robot, pound the rock, move the sticks, move the chains kind of running back in this game. That is what Kaleb Johnson can be for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. He was that at Iowa. He can be that again. There was never a point where the Steelers were like, all right, let's just go milk some clock here. That was, I mean, they were down early, they were trailing, and their defense wasn't stopping anyone. So milking the clock was never a part of what they were trying to do in that game. So I think there will be game situations where you will see a lot less of Kenny Gainwell and you will see a lot more of Kaleb Johnson. But I think until he's able to resolve these pass protection issues and become a more well-rounded running back, he's still probably going to be at best like a 2A or a 2B kind of running back, where he can be the change of pace to Jaylen Warren and maybe some days even out-touch Jaylen Warren. Remember, Jaylen Warren out-touched Najee Harris a few times over the years. But he's never going to be the first option until he becomes that more well-rounded running back. And that doesn't mean he was a bad draft pick or that he was a waste or that he's not going to become a very good player. It is just 1 week into his rookie year, and he had no experience doing any of this stuff, so it was always going to take time. He is a very talented rusher, and I think when the Steelers get into an instance where they need to bleed some clock, they get into a game where they want to give 30 carries to a running back. They don't want to give all 30 of those to Jaylen Warren, for sure. They want to give some of those to Kaleb Johnson. The last part of this is they are trying to find a way to get him some snaps, and they put him out there on kickoff return. I'm not sure he's great at that. He just seems to run very hard into contact. He got lit up a bunch of times in the preseason. He fumbled in the season opener. Was fortunate that I think it was Juan Thornhill was able to fall on it. But yeah, I don't know if that's the way forward here. I would rather them take a drive and say, okay, this one's Kaleb's, and get him 2 or 3 touches and force him into some NFL action that way than keeping him out there in the kickoff return, which does not seem to be going very well so far. But we shall see. I do think, like I said, I expect not a significant amount, but I expect more of Kaleb Johnson in week 2, as far as, and much more Jaylen Warren in week 2. And then we'll see when and if he's able to make that leap in pass protection and receiving, route running, hands, all those things that he needs to work on, and really become the well-rounded back I think the Steelers believe he can be. They drafted him. You draft running back in the 3rd round. The idea is he's supposed to become a starter. And so they do believe in him. It's just a matter of giving him some time and finding ways for him to develop into the player they think he can be. All right, that's it for this morning. Afternoon Drive, me and Smitty right here, YouTube channel and your audio feeds, 6 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock, Pelusi's Pick'em, me and Julie Pelusi going over some week 1 games around the NFL. She will be picking Steelers Seahawks against the spread, the over-under, and also your fantasy plays, sit 'em, start 'em, and some daily fantasy and some prop bet picks as well. So make sure you stay tuned for both of those things. Until next time, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and enjoy.